gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police when I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
A deadly assault on a counselor from Monday night made his first court appearance. Javaris Hurd is facing several charges in the case, 4 in all. That includes second-degree reckless homicide and felony murder. Right now, Hurd in custody, being held on a $100,000 cash bond for the death of 49-year-old Proulx. Flags will fly at half-staff through tomorrow in his memory. Now, the attack...
So, Javaris Hurd, it looks like this guy pretty much beat up a staff personnel of the I guess the youth detention center that he was in, and he beat the man so bad that he had brain damage. He completely was comatose and was put on life support and eventually taken off life support, unfortunately. And this guy, you know, he's a person who's trying to reach out to the youth, right? This is an example of an interracial murder, okay? And there are a couple suspects involved in this beatdown. So we'll get into that later, but you have a man who is trying to reach out to, you know, affected youth, juvenile delinquents, and he's punished in the worst way for it. He's killed for it. As a matter of fact, he died advocating for the same people that ended up taking him out. These super teen gremlins are on demon time.
Happened at the Lincoln Hills Copper Lake School in Irma. That's in northern Wisconsin. Now, since 2011, it's been the only juvenile detention facility in the entire state. And this, of course, is not the first violent incident there. In 2015, the Wisconsin Department of Justice started that criminal investigation after multiple physical and sexual assaults were reported between staff and inmates. Then, 2 years later, the ACLU filed a lawsuit alleging horrific living conditions at that facility. Then in 2018, then Governor Scott Walker announced Lincoln Hills Copper Lake would close by January of 2021. But now, 3 years after that deadline, it's still open and a staff member is dead. Today, several lawmakers releasing statements calling the death preventable. It also comes after 9 former Department of Corrections officers were charged in connection with 2 deaths at the state prison in Waupun. Both incidents shining a spotlight on issues within the DOC.
So, you know, to deflect, they take a story that happened from the same prison and said, oh, well, some guards killed an inmate in 2017. And it's just like the media, they always do conflating stories. Like they're trying to conflate this incident with the past. And it's not the same at all. When an inmate passes away or is killed in a brutal way at a prison, it's always reprimanded, right? Like we see these guys getting hemmed up for doing these things, and when they are beating up an inmate, if they so happen to get into a scuffle like that, a lot of times it's in the process of doing their job. So sometimes you do have accidents happen, and obviously nobody deserves to get their life taken without some type of real justice. But then again, those prisons are dangerous places, so you have to meet force with force, and these types of casualties happen. In this case, you have a young man who took out a guard, beat him to death. Or I guess he's some type of, I mean, he's an officer, but he's also some type of youth advocate or whatnot. But these conflicts can always turn deadly inside of those walls.
is brain dead after New at 4, a staff member at Wisconsin's youth prison is brain dead after a fight with an inmate. The Lincoln County coroner says 49-year-old Proulx was declared brain dead yesterday. He was a youth counselor at Lincoln Hills Copper Lake schools.
Okay, so he was a youth counselor. So he wasn't necessarily an officer, but he was staff at the schools and working in the prisons as well. And damn, I mean, it's just crazy. You got this white guy who's trying to give back to his community, and he's taken out by this young teenage black male who is obviously having some major issues that landed him in this youth detention center in the first place. So, man, it's just rough when we got to cover stories like this.
The Department of Corrections says a 16-year-old boy assaulted another staff member before attacking Proulx, who hit his head on concrete.
And we are continuing our coverage at 5 of the assault of 2 staff members at that youth facility.
49-year-old Proulx died from injuries sustained during an assault by a 16-year-old housed at Lincoln Hills School for Boys, according to a news release today from the Department of Corrections. A second staff member was injured but has since been released from the hospital. The person accused, Javaris Hurd, is facing several charges in the case, 4 in total, including second-degree reckless homicide and felony murder. Right now, Hurd is in custody, being held on a $100,000 cash bond. Our 7 Investigates Emily Davies was at court today for the discussion. Emily, what did you hear?
Well, while there was a discussion about 16-year-old Javaris Hurd being held at Mendota Juvenile Treatment Center, the judge ultimately ordered to have him held here at the Lincoln County Jail. Staff made accommodations for Hurd to avoid sight and sound as much as possible of other adults that are in the facility because of his age. No one, even his defense attorney that day, decided it was a good idea for him to go back to Lincoln Hills. Now, the district attorney says Hurd is from the Madison area and got to Lincoln Hills in February of this year. No one argued against the request for a $100,000 cash bond. The daughter of the youth counselor who died, Proulx.
So he's got a $100,000 bond. That doesn't seem high at all for beating a man to death, a youth counselor. That's upsetting.
Spoke in favor of it as a victim impact statement, but did not want to be on camera with media present.
I am terrified for his co-workers, and unfortunately I have lost my father now due to this incident. Whether it was intentional or not, I do not believe that he is a safe individual to be around the public or other individuals up at the Lincoln Hills School.
In the criminal complaint and statements from the sheriff's office, a 25-year-old youth counselor was standing inside Hurd's residence hall. Detectives reviewed surveillance video showing Hurd got a cup of what they believe was soap and tossed it at the youth counselor's upper body and face. Hurd began repeatedly punching her in the upper body and face area. Detectives say he was unprovoked. He then ran outside to the basketball court where other kids were. Youth counselor Proulx went after him to detain him. Hurd then punched Proulx twice in the face. Detectives say surveillance video shows him moving his body to use maximum force in the punches. Proulx became limp and fell to the ground, hitting his head on the pavement.
Dang.
Detectives say Hurd then climbed the basketball hoop and sat on it. He later told investigators he had built up aggression towards the first youth counselor because he believed that she was abusing her power and treating him unfairly. Hurd continued saying he had planned to attack that counselor and asked another youth for the cup of soap to throw at her.
Now that's wild. Sheesh. I mean, these young brothers got anger issues. Okay, this is a real deal situation here. These individuals were at a youth detention center, so I mean, probably like an alternative school where they don't get to go home. And I mean, it's horrible. I mean, the guy beat the hell out of the man. He attacked another youth counselor. I mean, this guy is completely unhinged.
Now, Hurd had a temporary attorney during this hearing, an initial appearance. He now has a more permanent one set up. So the question of whether or not this case would head to the juvenile court was not brought up. They will review whether he will be placed at Mendota or elsewhere within the next 30 days because the jail here does not have the mental health resources for him. Live in Merrill, Emily Davies, News Channel 7.
Emily, thank you. Governor Tony Evers has ordered flags in Wisconsin to be flown at half staff until sunset tomorrow evening to honor Corey Proulx.
Governor Tony Evers orders flags to be flown at half staff after a counselor at Wisconsin's youth prison dies following a fight with a teenage inmate. The DOC reported a fight Monday night at the Lincoln Hills Copper Lake schools just south of Tomahawk. A 16-year-old inmate reportedly attacked 2 staff members in a residence hall. Officials say the first staff member was treated, expected to be okay. The second, though, hit his head on concrete during the attack. He's identified as 49-year-old Corey Proulx. The Lincoln County coroner declared him brain dead so the family could donate his organs. The inmate appeared in court today, Javaris Hurd, being prosecuted as an adult. His bond set at $100,000. The youth prison is now being overseen by a court-appointed monitor. This comes after years of allegations that staff members abused their use of pepper spray, restraints, and strip searches on inmates.
Action News at 6. A first alert update now. A second Lincoln Hills teen is charged in connection to Monday's attack and death of a staff member.
So we have a second teen charged with the murder, or I think they're charging them with manslaughter, negligent manslaughter. And we're gonna get a mugshot of this young man as well. He is a glider teen gremlin on Demon Time, and he in this case was an accomplice with Juvenile Hurd. And man, I mean, these kids, they are just acting a damn fool. They bad as hell.
17-year-old Ryan Nyblom was incarcerated in the same unit as Javaris Hurd when the assault happened. Nyblom is charged with felony murder and 2 counts of battery.
So Ryan Nyblom, okay, felony murder though. Okay, so they're hitting him with the felony murder and 2 counts of battery. So it looks like these guys are definitely going to be held to account. But you never know. You never know. They are underage. They are youth offenders. So a lot of times these guys serve juvenile life and then they're out by the age of 21.
By prisoners as party to a crime. He's currently being held at the Lincoln County Jail on a $20,000 cash bond. Nyblom is ordered to have no contact with the victim or the family, as well as no contact with Lincoln Hills staff. As we've reported, 49-year-old Corey Proulx was declared brain dead yesterday. The other suspect in the case, Javaris Hurd, appeared in court yesterday as well. Prosecutors charged Hurd in adult court with second-degree reckless homicide, felony murder, battery, and 2 counts of battery by a prisoner. Hurd is being held in the Lincoln County Jail on $100,000 bond. He's also ordered to have no contact with the victim's family or Lincoln Hills staff as well. Officials are looking to schedule future court proceedings for both suspects next month. Meantime, Governor Tony Evers ordered flags to be flown at half staff through sunset this evening to honor.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Janquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetizing shadow banning this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on Demon Time.
In Lincoln County, one of the 2 youth counselors injured in an attack at a youth prison there has died. The Lincoln County coroner says that the 49-year-old man was declared brain dead yesterday and died shortly after. The other staff member hurt was a 25-year-old woman who was treated and released from the hospital. Both employees were attacked by a 16-year-old male student who attended the youth prison, Lincoln Hills School.
17-year-old has now been charged as a party to a crime after the deadly assault at Lincoln Hills School in Irma.
He is charged with 3 felonies accused of helping to make the attack happen. 7 Investigates' Emily Davies joins us now to explain those charges and what role investigators say he played in the attack. Emily?
Yeah, Cassandra, 7.
All right, so they're about to explain what role the white boy played into this brutal attack.
17-year-old Ryan Nyblom is charged with 2 counts of battery by a prisoner and 1 count of felony murder. For all of the charges, Nyblom is accused of not directly committing the acts, but facilitating them. Nyblom's temporary defense attorney asked the judge to dismiss the felony murder and first battery by a prisoner charge. Those are related to the attacks on youth counselor Proulx, who ultimately died of his injuries.
So they saying he might have been the shot caller in all this. Yeah. Dang. These gliders stepping up to the plate. I mean, what's going on? Was he calling the shots? Talking about he facilitated this. Very interesting.
The judge said the dismissal requests would be addressed at a later date. Yesterday, we heard the basic details of what happened on Monday night through Javaris Hurd's first court appearance. Nyblom is accused of being the teen who supplied a cup of soap that Hurd threw on the female youth counselor. According to the complaint, Nyblom told investigators Hurd planned to attack the female youth counselor. The reason? Hurd got the results back from his complaint against her. Nyblom says he got the extra conditioner from that counselor about a half hour before the assault. Investigators say.
So he got the soap, I guess, and supplied the soap.
Nyblom knew why Hurd wanted the cup of conditioner, and they came up with a plan together to attack her. Now, Nyblom is in custody on a $20,000 cash bond. He and Hurd have scheduling conferences for the next steps in their cases in July.
So he has a lower bond, so it looks like Hurd is being charged with the more serious charges because he actually physically, was the one who knocked the youth counselor out.
Why? Thank you, Emily. Now, for years, 7 Investigates has reported on the embattled Lincoln Hills Copper Lake schools. We've covered leadership changes, updated disciplinary measures, and the delay to close the facilities. We are digging through our archives so you can find all of those reports, as well as watch past stories from all different perspectives right now at WSAW.com.
A second teenager is now charged with murder and the deadly assault of a counselor at Wisconsin's only youth prison. 17-year-old Ryan Nyblom was charged and arrested for the death of 49-year-old Proulx. Investigators say Proulx and a female staff member were assaulted by Nyblom and 16-year-old Javaris Hurd. The pair were housed in the same unit at the Lincoln Hills Copper Lake Schools, the state's youth prison in Irma. The other staff member who was also attacked was taken to the hospital where she was treated and released. Both Nyblom and Hurd have been moved out of the youth prison and are being held in the Lincoln County Jail.
An update now on the situation at Wisconsin's only juvenile detention facility. A second 16-year-old is now charged with murder in that deadly assault of a counselor. 17-year-old Ryan Nyblom was arrested for the death of 49-year-old Proulx. Investigators say Proulx and a female staff member were assaulted by Nyblom and 16-year-old Javaris Hurd. The pair were housed in the same unit at the Lincoln Hills Copper Lake Schools, the site of youth prison in Irma. The other staff member who was attacked was taken to the hospital where she has been treated and released. Both Nyblom and Hurd have been moved out of the youth prison and are currently in the Lincoln County Jail.
More about what led up to an attack on 2 corrections workers at Lincoln Hills, which is a youth prison for boys. The Lincoln County coroner confirms one of the workers was declared brain dead. CBS 58's Pavlina Asta is live in our newsroom with the latest details. Pavlina.
Amanda, the 16-year-old boy accused of attacking 2 Lincoln Hill workers, made his first court appearance today. He was charged as an adult with second-degree reckless homicide, felony murder, and 2 felony counts of battery by a prisoner. According to the Department of Corrections, the teen assaulted 2 staff members Monday. A 25-year-old woman who was taken to the hospital, treated, and later released. According to the court complaint, the teen said he planned the attack because he believed she was abusing her power and treating him unfairly. He then assaulted 49-year-old Proulx, a youth counselor, who during the attack was knocked unconscious and hit his head on concrete. He was taken to the hospital to receive treatment, but this morning the Lincoln County coroner confirmed he was declared brain dead. The family is now going through the organ donation process as he was an organ donor. According to DOC, Proulx was engaged to be married and is survived by a daughter. The family described him as an amazing partner, father, son, and human being. Also today, Governor Tony Evers ordered flags to be flown at half-staff for the youth corrections officer. Evers saying in part, Wisconsinites today are honoring Corey and his service as we mourn his tragic passing and keep Corey's family, loved ones, colleagues, and all those who knew and served alongside him in our hearts and our prayers. There are plans to replace the Lincoln Hills School for Boys and Copper Lake School for Girls and build replacement facilities. One is expected to open in Milwaukee in 2026. In 2018, the state did agree to pay more than $25 million in settlements after many juveniles were left in solitary confinement for weeks, pepper sprayed, and in some cases, seriously injured. The criminal investigation at detention centers ended in 2019 without any charges. It did result with a court-appointed monitor to make frequent visits to Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake to review the conditions. State Representative Michael Scraw says that they're planning to have a hearing in the Assembly Corrections Committee in July. The department is now working to move the teen to another facility, but it's not clear where. In the newsroom, Pavlina Asta, CBS 58 News.
Pavlina, thank you. We just got a statement from a union rep for workers at Lincoln Hills. It says in part, quote, instead of working with workers, the Evers administration elected to continue the heavy-handed management tactics of previous administrations. They refused to listen and allow their appointees to treat the workers as the enemy, end quote.
More than 200 people gathered at Wausau Aspirus Hospital today to thank and honor Lincoln Hills youth counselor Corey Proulx.
He died following an attack at Lincoln Hills earlier this week. Friends, family, and complete strangers honor Proulx for his final life-saving gift.
Organ donation is a crucial gift for those needing life-saving help. And today, more people received their potentially life-saving call. Here at Wausau Aspirus Hospital, more lives were changed because of one man's selfless decision. The ceremony started with an honor walk through the hospital, and then concluded with a flag-raising ceremony in Corey Proux's honor.
Becoming an organ donor is really a personal choice that anybody can make. It's important to talk to your family about your wishes before tragedy could come.
One organ donation can save up to 75 lives or more.
So we think about the heart, the lungs, kidneys, pancreas, those more solid organs we think of, but there's so many other gifts with the corneas, tissue donations.
The process.
So, his dying wish was to donate his organs, and I guess that's an honorable thing, especially if you know exactly where it's going. But man, it's just, you're here one day and gone the next. Very dangerous working with these quote-unquote disadvantaged youth, and they can absolutely do some damage if you are not careful.
This takes some time.
It's not something that happens immediately. So once that choice is made and somebody is fit for organ donation, it does take time to match that donor with their recipients because there needs to be a good match there.
For some families, organ donation can provide peace in a very difficult time.
In this immense grief and tragedy, there is hope today, and I think that's a message that Corey and his family was able to give to our community today.
There are many ways that you can become an organ donor. One of the ways is by going online to the DHS's website, to the Wisconsin Donor Registry. Now you can also go to your local DMV and also register to be an organ donor when you get your driver's license.
Friends and family of a fallen Lincoln Hills youth counselor gathered to honor his life and celebrate his last gift. Good evening, I'm Eric Marotek. Melissa's off. News 9's Nick Robinson explains how Corey Proulx is still helping others, even after his death.
If you ask anyone who knows Corey Proulx, they'll tell you he was a generous man, and they held a ceremony here at Aspirus to celebrate his last gift to others. Proulx was taken off life support Tuesday after police say he was assaulted by a student at Lincoln Hills Monday night. He tried to intervene after another staff member was attacked and paid the ultimate price. His loved ones announced that his organs would be donated. Friday morning, dozens of family, friends, and co-workers lined the halls at Aspirus in what's known as an honor walk, a final send-off to let the people who knew Proulx say their final goodbyes. Sarah Schrader, a member of Aspirus' organ donation committee, described the scene.
Seeing the line of hallways with coworkers, local law enforcement, just unbelievable to see all of that, and then to come out to the flagpole and be able to raise that and come together as a community.
Even though we won't know where Corey's organs are going or how many it will help, Schrader says one person can help dozens by donating their organs.
One person can save up to 75 lives or more through solid organ and tissue and eye donation. A lot of times we think about the solid organs like the lungs, the heart, kidneys, liver.
Mike Porath was a close friend of Corey's. The two shared a hobby of working on cars, and he said he wasn't surprised at all by his generous donation, saying that's who Corey always was.
If you needed something, he was there before you needed him. I mean, seriously, he was a good guy. Good guy.
As a testament to how many lives Corey touched, hospital staff tell me they were expecting only about 40 people to show up. But instead, it was about 250. And now, Corey will touch even more lives through his donation. Everyone I spoke to said that they're happy to see Corey's memory live on through others. In Wausau, Nick Robinson, News 9, WAOW.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.